In this lesson, I'm going to look at how to calculate percentages of a quantity and then how to use that. So the first thing we need to know off by heart is we need to know this kind of list of fraction and percentage equivalences. In other words, this percentage, 75%, is exactly the same as this fraction 3/4. They both mean exactly the same thing, they both have the same value. It's just two different ways to write them. So the list you need to know is 75% and 3/4 are the same, 66 and 2/3 percent is just the same as 2/3. 50%, one that most people know already, is a half. 33 and a third percent is 1/3. There are 425s and 100, so a quarter is the same as 25%. There are 520s and 100, so 20% is just a fifth. There are 10 tens and 100, so 10% is a tenth, and 1% is 100. Now there's ones that are there that are particularly important for the methods we'll use later on. These two here are really, really important. Now, when we're asked to find a percentage of an amount, there are basically three types of question you could be asked. Okay, so we need to kind of sort them into three different categories. The categories are commonly used percentages. Now that was the list of percentages and fractions we just showed you. So you need to know that off by heart. Remember, that's really important you know off by heart. Any percentage which is a multiple of 10%, so for instance anything in the 10 times table, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, etc. Or any single digit percentage, for instance 1%, 2%, 3%, all the way up to 9%, so just one digit in each of those. Now if we can first of all establish which of these three types it is quite easily, then each one has its own method. So we'll have a look at the examples below. The first thing I'm going to ask myself is, I'm going to go through this kind of little checklist. Is it a commonly used percentage? Was it one of the ones on my list? If not, is it a multiple of 10? If not, is it a single digit? But we don't need to do that because this one here, 66 and 2/3, that was on my list on the other page, and it was equivalent to 2/3. So for a question like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this percentage, 66 and 2/3, and I'm going to replace it with its equivalent fraction, which is just the fraction 2/3 of 813. Now, to find 2/3 of something, that's a lot easier to focus on because I need to first of all find a third. And to do that, I just divide this by 3. And then to find 2/3, well, that would be twice as much. So then multiply the answer to that by 2. So let's go through it step by step. Let's start off with the 813. Divide by the bottom number. So 3 into 8 goes twice, remainder 2. 3 into 21 goes 7. And 3 into 3 goes once. And now I've divided by the bottom number. I know 271 is a third, but I'm looking for 2/3, so I'm looking for two lots of this. So 2 times 271, and that's 2, 4 carry 1, and 2 2s are 4 plus 1 is 5, 542. So the answer here is 542. So for a question like this, where it's a commonly used percentage in the list we've just shown you, then I take the percentage and I turn it into its equivalent fraction, which then makes it quite easy for me to calculate. The only thing I still need to do in this question is I still need to put a pound sign on this because the question was asking not just this percentage of 813, but this percentage of 813 pounds. So this would have to have a pound sign as well. We'll now look at the next example, and again we're going to go through our checklist. Is it a commonly used percentage? Was 60% on the list we showed you a minute ago? And the answer is no. Is it a multiple of 10? Is 60% in the 10 times table? Or is 60 in the 10 times table? So the answer to that is yes. So this is using this multiple of 10 strategy, which we do in 2 steps. The first step is we find 10%. And the second step is once you know what 10% is, it makes it really easy to multiply that to anything to find 20 or 30 or 40. So the second step is just to multiply. So let's go through those 2 steps. So we want to find 10% first, and it's 10% of 24 we're looking for. You'll remember we said on the other slide 10% was an important one to know off by heart. Well, they all are, but 10% particularly. 10% was 1/10. Okay, so if I want to find 10% of something, I'm finding a tenth of it, which means I'm dividing by 10. Now, I'm trying to find 10% of this, so I need to do 24 divided by 10. So think about where's the decimal point here. If I can't see it, remember it's hidden at the end. And divide by 10, I'm going to move it one space, so it's going to be 2.4. Now, what I want to do is, now I've found 10%, that's quite easy for me to go and find 60% because basically I need 6 lots of 10% to make up 60%. So I want to multiply this by 6, so times 6 And because I'm multiplying this by 6, I'm going to multiply this by 6 as well. And that's going to give me 10 times 60, sorry, 10 times 6 is 60%. And then again, 2.4 multiplied by 6, we're going to do 4 times 6 is 24. So 4 and carry the 2. And then 6 times 2 is 12, plus the 2 we've carried is 14. And we're going to make sure our decimal point lines up with the one above. Now, because this question here again was asking 60% of £24, and I've got this 14.4, the final answer I would need to convert into pounds. So 14.4 will be £14 and 40 pence. Okay, so remember to look at the units of the question you're doing. So, a recap so far. Commonly used, we take it and we turn it into a fraction, and then we find that fraction of the amount instead. If it's a multiple of 10, there are two steps. We find 10%, which is easy. We just divide this number by 10, and then we multiply. So if I was looking for 60%, I find 10, multiply it by 6 to get 60%. If I was looking for 30%, find 10, multiply by 3 to get 30%, and so on. The last one is a single digit percentage. So again, we'd go through our checklist. Is it commonly used? No. Is it a multiple of 10? No. Is it a single digit? Well, 7's only got one digit here, so yes. And the trick for this one is very similar to this one, but we find 1% first. Now again, you'll remember the percentages I gave you at the start. 1% was one I highlighted because that is 1 out of 100. That's what the word percent means. 1% means 1 per 100 or 1 out of 100. So to find 1% of an amount, I need to divide by 100. So this 224 here will need to be divided by 100. So that's 1% is equal to, and again, the decimal point is currently hidden at the end here. So dividing by 100, I'm going to move it twice, twice, so it's going to be 2.24. And then what I'm going to do is, once I've found 1%, it's very easy for me to find 7% because I know it's just 7 times as much. So I take that 1% and multiply it by 7. Then I'm going to get 7. And I'm going to obviously multiply the other side by 7 as well because they're equal to each other. So 7 times 4 is 28, and 7 times 2 is 14, plus the 2 is 16, so 6 carry the 1, and we'll put our decimal point in as well now. And then 7 twos is another 14, plus 1 is 15. So that's, oh, hang on, that's 15.68. And again, this question happened to be money, so £224, so this will be pounds as well, it'll be £15.68. So we're just going to make sure that's nice and clear, £15.68. One of the things we use percentage for a lot is to increase or decrease values by a certain percentage. So we can look at the kind of calculating a percentage and then what do we do with it once we know it in these examples here. So we've got John earns 42,000 per annum, that just means per year. He's given a 3% pay rise, calculate his new salary. So a 3% pay rise means he now gets paid 3% more than he did before, so we're going to have to find out what 3% of this is first so we can then add it on. So 3% of 42,000 is the question. So again, we're going to go through our little checklist. Is this a commonly used percentage? Is it one from the list at the very start of the video? No. Is it a multiple of 10? No. Is it a single digit? Yes. Now, single digit percentages, remember, the technique for that was to find 1% first. And as 1% is 100, we're going to divide by 100. So we're going to move the decimal point once, twice to get that 420. So 1% is £420. And then what I want, once I know 1%, it's easy to find 3% because I just have to multiply it by 3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, and that'll give me 3%. And because these two sides are equal to each other, we are going to then put times 3 at this side as well. And 3% will equal whatever 3 times this number here is. So 3 nothings are nothing, 3 twos are 6, and 3 fours are 12. Now, that amount of money there is 3% of 42,000 is 1,260. Obviously, that's not John's new wage. What we've got is his old wage and this extra 3%. So I'm going to write out new wage, and I'm going to take my 42,000. I'm going to add on my 1,260. I'm going to be really careful trying to make sure all my columns line up here. So my units, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands, and so on. and then I'm just going to add them together. So it's new wage, 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 and 6 is 6, 0 and 2 is 2, 2 and 1 is 3 and 4. That's John's new wage there. The other way we can use this, and we can use it as a percentage reduction, you often see this in sales, etc. So you've got a pair of jeans costing £28 are on sale where everything is 30% off. What's the sale price of the jeans? In other words, what would you buy them for in the sale? So first thing I need to do is work out how much money we're actually getting off them. So I need to work out what this 30% is worth. So it's 30% of 28 is my question. So I'm going to write 30% of 28. And I'm going to go through my little checklist again. Is that one of my commonly used percentages? No. Is it a multiple of 10? Yes. So this is a multiple of 10. So remember the technique for a multiple of 10 was to find 10% first. And you'll remember 10% is a tenth. So I'm basically looking for a tenth of this. So dividing this by 10 is 28. The decimal point moves once to give me 2.8. And then once I know 10%, it's very easy for me to find 20 or 30 or 40 just by multiplying. So 30% is just 3 lots of 10%. So I need to times this by 3 to get 30%. So times 3 times 3, that's 30% equals, and then we've got here 3 times 8 is 24. So 4 and carry the 2, and we'll put our point in to line up. And then 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So that's 8.4. Now, we're talking about money here, so we know that's £8.40. So this is not the new price of the jeans, this is the 30% that I'm taking off the price of the jeans. So the jeans did cost 28, so I'm going to write that out. So new price, or sale price if you prefer, is the £28 that they were originally. But obviously I'm getting a discount, so I'm going to take away this £8.40. So subtract £8.40 from that. And then we just do the subtraction. So 0 take 0 is 0. 0 take away 4 here we can't do, so we're going to borrow from the 8. So we're going to leave that as 7 and borrow 1. And then we've got 10 take away 4 is 6. Put our decimal point in so they all line up nicely here. And then we're going to try and do 7 take away 8, which we can't do. So again, we're going to borrow, leave 1 and make that 17. 17 take away 8 is 9. And 1 take away nothing is 1. So £19.60 would be the sale price of the jeans with that money off.